welcome to Tyra Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about anything and everything, and that's on period. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If you are coming from my other videos where I kind of talked about, my wrap ups, or whatever I talked about, welcome. And if you are just new to this channel, welcome again. So let's just get into it. So today I'm going to be talking about Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This book, which it just came out in March the 4th, and I finished it in March because I was like, I need to finish this book. I wanted to kind of stay up. Can you see it? Okay. I think this is good enough. Okay, so Dream Count. So I finished reading this book quite recently, and I had thoughts. While it wasn't my favorite read, that's probably due to a couple of things like the type of genre it is and also the characters. I'm a character driven person. I root for my characters. I love my characters. I cry with my characters. So I think from the inception, I didn't like the characters, so it just meant that this book was just not for me. That's not to say it's not going to be for you, but like I said, I just had to explain why I didn't like the book. So we follow 4 women in this book. Chia, her cousin Omelugo, her best friend Zikora, and her housekeeper Kadiatu. This is during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, where everyone was shelter in place, and each of them, we kind of get their point of view during that trying period. We started with Chia. I did not like Chia. She was the one I liked the least. She just felt like a overprivileged child that just never grew up, and she did a couple of things that I didn't like. They were questionable, right? Questionable things, especially in the men that she dated. No, Chia was just not. She was not for me. I think the only redeeming thing about Chia is she likes her friends, or she's a hardcore, like, she takes her friendships really seriously, even down to her housekeeper Kadiatu, who she was there for her. So I would say that's like one of Chia's redeeming grace. But other than that, her taste in men was terrible. And she also did some deplorable things, like with the guy from London or UK or something like that. Like, that was a no-no for me. So I think from there, I just really disliked her completely. So Chia's story was the least favorite of mine. I didn't like her POV. I just didn't see what her problem was. You had rich parents who like you. A lot of people who have rich parents have these, these expectations that, oh, you will be this. Or they give you the money and you have to prove yourself. She doesn't even have that issue. Her parents give her money and they love her, so she could have been doing something better with herself, but no. So then after Chia, we move on to her friend Zikora, who I can understand why Zikora turned out the way she did. She went through something that was really traumatic. I agree, but Chia, even before she she broke off with Kwame, she came off like someone that was bitter and jealous of Omelugo all the time. And there wasn't any reason why there was just that antagonist feeling between the two of them. So I think that put me off. But I also love the fact that she was able to reconnect with her mom and also see from her mom's point of view how, when you're younger, the way things happen, you kind of have to put it into perspective and when you're older, because things are not always what they seem to be. And I think Zikora quickly realizes that when her mom comes over and she, realizes that, yeah, I must have, I really didn't cherish my mom the way I should have. So I think it was a good time for her to get that self reflection and really make amends with her mom. The other person that we followed was Amelago, who is Chia's cousin. Amelago, I think, was the best character. Well, second to the best character for me. She was more relatable. This is probably because I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. So a lot of the things that she was, she got into or she was reminiscent about was stuff that I could relate to. So, and I laughed a lot in Amelago's story. I felt like the more, um, she was the more lighthearted person of all of them. The only other thing I don't understand is the way Amelago is written from the other character's point of view is very different from the Amelago we get in her point of view, right? So, in her point of view, she comes off as a good Christian girl who is trying to make a way for her family because her family doesn't have a lot of money. So, obviously, she had to do a lot of things to get ahead. They're not good things. She did a lot of unethical stuff, right? So, but when you read her from Sakura's point of view or even Chia's point of view, she comes off as different, right? She comes off as bossy and braggy and like, someone that doesn't care about other people's feelings. Whereas in her point of view, we see how she takes care of the people around her. So I felt like that contrast didn't match up for me because I felt like in Ameligo's points of view, we were gonna get a different person, but we got a totally different person. I actually liked the Ameligo in her chapters versus reading her from other people's point of views, right? So, and then she had the stints where she came to the U.S. and tried to go into. She tried to go back to school, and there was this whole issue that she had with her college mates. Yeah, I think that part just kind of lost it for me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go to the last person, which is Kariatsu. Kariatsu, 10/10. She was the best character. She was the most fleshed out. She was the most relatable. She was the most normal person in this book. And whenever I finished the book, she had a postscript that is the author. And then you come to find out that Kadiatu's story is based on a real life story that happened to a French woman. And that was actually the propelling, or that was actually why this book came to be, was Chimamanda was so, so drawn by that story, she decided to put it into, words. So Kadiatu's story was the best. We got her growing up. We got her with her family back home. And then when she moved down to the US, you could see her growing through each experience. And you could also relate to the choices that she made based on her upbringing, right? It made sense because that's who she was. So Kadi's story was the best of them. I especially loved everything that happened in Kadi's chapters. They were the best, and I especially loved the ending for her because for her that is true happiness, is freedom, and not being in the spotlight. So Kadi's story was the best, and she was the best of the characters. So she's the reason why the book was enjoyable. It's just unfortunate that her chapters came like closer to the end of the book. So imagine coming from Chia and you're just like, Darnell. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Darnell. You know what I mean if you've read the book. Darnell. My God. Anyways, so when I also read the postscript, I realized that Chimamanda was going through a loss. Not sure if it was at the time this book was written, but quite recently she had lost her mom. And I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like that there was this kind of like a a atmosphere in the book where everything was just so down and dreary and just so kind of like shrunk and sad. So if she wrote this during the pandemic, it really captured that feeling where it's just like you're dreading something, you're just like really sad. Because when I finished the book, I was like sad. I was just like, what is wrong with me? I need to get myself out of the dumps, because I think the book just dropped me down. I was just so depressed after I finished the book, because none of the stories had any useful closure. Like, the stories just tapered off, and that was it. Maybe only Kade's story was kind of like, a good ending, but the rest were just kind of finished, or just, it's like exit stage, or exit scene if you're into plays. So that part, yeah, wasn't working for me. And like I said, the characters were just so unlikable, and all of them were just so unhappy. I don't really have anybody that was actually happy in this book. Maybe Omelugo, but she was also going through some stuff. So none of them were like super happy. They were all just like sad. I don't know, but I mean, please let me know if you have, different thoughts than I have. But maybe for me, that's just what it was everyone was just living such sad lives, and no one had joy in whatever they were doing. But yeah, so that's all my thoughts on Dream Count. Read it if, like I said, it really gave off the vibe of you're in a pandemic. But the characters were not my fave. Their stories were a little questionable. What they were getting into was questionable, but there were some good highlights of the book, like Kade's story and Zikora kind of making up with her mom. So yeah, so that was Dream Count. Please let me know your thoughts, because I know a lot of people read this book and have thoughts, and maybe they're different from mine. I would be interested to, have conversation about if someone really loved this book and they can tell me exactly what they liked. I'm open to that, because I just felt like I have like the opposite reaction, whereas everyone was like, oh my god, this book was great, and I was like, I don't know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up. Just let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you read Dream Count and if you liked it, or you had opposite thoughts than what I had, or you had the same thoughts. Please put a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!